Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second this motion of the consideration of senators to serve in these three very, very important committees. Madam Speaker, from the onset, if you look at the order paper today, I dare say if you look at all the order papers that we have considered since we started the term of this Parliament, you will notice that the papers that have been laid revolves around two committees that we are considering members of the Senate to serve in those committees. The order paper today, Madam Speaker, the first paper laid out is the report of the Auditor General on the financial statement for Narok County Executive for the year ended June 30th. The fourth one, Madam Speaker, is on the report of the Auditor General on the financial statement for Narok County Bursary Fund. Those two statements, Madam Speaker, falls under the Public Accounts Committee. But when you go further down, you will find statements, or rather you'll find papers that falls under PIC, or Public Investment Committee. So, Madam Speaker, the sooner we dispense this matter and constitute these committees, the earlier it will be for us to be able to complete the work that we've been tasked for. If you look at, Madam Speaker, Standing Order number 193 to 195, they are quite clear on the mandate of each of those committees. Madam Speaker, the biggest challenge that we encountered during the last Parliament, and I served as a member of the Public Accounts Investment Committee, then, before these two committees were split, it was tedious. A governor would appear, would sit for 6 hours, and will only be able to prosecute two issues, or rather two questions. I want to echo the sentiments of my colleague, the Majority Leader, that those senators, distinguished senators, who have been tasked with a mandate to be able to oversight the county governments, that mandate is very, very clear, because it calls for you as a person to be able to respect the principle of the fiduciary duty. You are tasked with a fiduciary duty to ensure that with the work that you are doing there is to be able to continue gaining respect from the members of the public who elected you to come and serve here. Madam Speaker, these are committees that require people who will be able to commit their time, to commit their sweat, to commit their blood in making sure that we can be able to call for accountability among the 47 counties. I heard my colleagues talk about that maybe this is a committee that all 47 delegations should be represented, and I dare say all the 47 delegations are actually represented, because when a governor is appearing before that committee, as a senator from that county, you have the right to be there, you have the right to be able to question. So I think we should not be all of us wanting to serve in that committee, because only 9 of us can be able to fit in. From the minority side, 5 members. From the majority side, 4 members. So I want to really reiterate and plead with all the members that we should approve these members so that we can start working. On the issue of the delegated legislation, we have seen the work which was done by the distinguished senator from Mombasa. When we had these government instruments, the statutory regulations being brought before this House, a lot of them, if it wasn't for the work which was done by Senator Haji, a lot of them would have been considered unconstitutional. So the mandate is quite clear. And I invite senators to go back and look at Standing Order number 193, 194, and 195, so that they can be able to understand their mandate. The other issue, Madam Speaker, is that these are committees that can be able to be reconstituted at any given time. I know the standing orders call for about a period of 3 years, but nothing stops us, as we have been given that power by Standing Order number 200, to be able to make these changes and be able to bring other people who can be able to help. I know for a fact that when I served as a member of the, by then it was called Public Accounts and Investment Committee, every single day, all 9 members were present. Now, it has been divided into 2. I don't see why we cannot be able to complete the work. We ended up becoming, what do you call it, when you have to look at something that has already happened? You know, what's the word? Huh? the work is more like you become a mortician. That's the word. You become a mortician. But, Madam Speaker, nothing stops the leadership of those two committees from taking on an active matter, suo motu, and investigating that matter. Nothing stops. In fact, this is a big argument that I had with the clerk's office on a statement which we are bringing on this floor, when I was told that that statement can only go to a particular committee because one of these select committees, we do not have a tradition of bringing statements. Madam Speaker, I want to challenge that. Because when you look at the mandate of the Committee on Public Accounts and Investment, if you read Standing Order 193, 193.1d, it says that the mandate is to exercise oversight over county public accounts. There's nowhere in that mandate that says that we have to do a post-mortem exercise, that we have to wait for the Auditor General to carry out investigation and submit following the process of the Public Audit Act. So, Madam Speaker, I'd like to challenge all distinguished members who are sitting here that whenever we have an issue to be able to carry out, we do so diligently. And I believe that all the names of all the distinguished senators who have been proposed to serve in these these three committees are people who are able to deliver justice and to call for a fiduciary responsibility among the 47 counties. So, Madam Speaker, as I summarize, I hope that this will be a matter that we can be able to conclude so that we can clear all the papers that have been laid on the floor of this House, on the table of this House, and allow county governments to be able to catch up. Because there's a lot happening in county government, Madam Speaker. And if we are not the true ombudspersons of our citizens, then we will be lying not only to ourselves, but to the Almighty God who has sent us to ensure that we deliver on the mandate that we were elected, which is clearly described under Article 196 of the Constitution. Madam Speaker, I support, and I hope that all the members will support.